Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and it is October 30th, one day to Halloween. So we'll have some good stuff for you tomorrow for Halloween. All right, today we have two meetings to tell you about. We have one at 9 a.m., which is the GRF Maintenance and Construction Special Meeting. And then at 2:30 this afternoon, we have the GRF Bylaw Ad Hoc Committee meeting. And you can tune into those by going to lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. Now on our show today, we do have an update from Jeff Parker about Laguna Woods and COVID numbers and a variety of other things going on in our community. And then we have a United update from Brian Gilmore. Nice guy. He is the treasurer and he has some interesting information regarding assessments that we're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and go to our COVID resources for you. We have covid19.ca.gov where you can follow along with the governor. And then you can go to ochealthinfo.com where you can get all of your numbers regarding COVID cases. You could always call the hotline at 714-834-2000. Of course, you could always go to our website, which is lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com, where we put just about everything and anything on there regarding COVID as well as local information. You could email us or email us by sending comment or question to info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. Now, our weather is looking quite lovely up until about Monday. We're going to start heating up again. Today, we're looking at 81.58, tomorrow 82.61. Sunday, we are warming up 86.65, then very warm on Monday, and then heading back down again about 82.63 on Tuesday. Now let's go to our travel weather slide. If you are leaving and heading to something like the beaches, which are 72.68, or you could go up to Mammoth, which is 64 with a chilly overnight of 25. Big Bear is also 63 with another chilly evening, 28. And Palm Springs is 91 with an overnight of 63. Now our sunrise this morning was kind of late. It was 7:09 and the sunset will be at 6 o'clock. Now, this photo, which I just love, was sent by Joel Goldstein. It's called Skull Rock, and it's in Death Valley. Oh, there's some ghosts. Hey, that's pretty cool, Joel. How'd you catch those ghosts in action? I didn't think they were going to show up, but nice job on that. Joel, thanks for sending that photo in. And if you have something fun that you would like to send in, please send it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. We'll be right back with Jeff Parker, so stay tuned.
My Oticon hearing aids have changed my life, so I don't feel isolated anymore. So it's just brought so much pressure back into my life.
Stories like this happen every day in our office. Hi, I'm Ann Mundell-Noel, audiologist and owner of Amazing Hearing. Come to our hearing event on Tuesday and Wednesday, November 3rd and 4th, to listen to Oticon's life-changing technology. Call us at 667-9818.
As a friendly reminder, cast your third mutual ballot by using a dark pen to fill in the oval. Place your ballot in the secret ballot envelope. Then, insert into the yellow postage-paid return envelope and seal. On the back of the yellow envelope, sign your name. Mail in plenty of time to arrive before November 2nd. Or hand-deliver to the Community Center ballot box by November 2nd. This is an important election proposition. Please vote.
All great healthcare organizations care, but the best dare to reach higher. At Hoag, we lead with life-saving clinical trials and advanced therapies. Our world-renowned specialists innovate with state-of-the-art technologies like virtual reality and robotics. Hoag is the #1 hospital in Orange County 4 years in a row. Now, more than ever, your healthcare choices matter. Choose Hoag.
This election, all Californians will be able to vote safely from home. Every active registered voter will receive a vote-by-mail ballot with a unique barcode. You can track it using Where's My Ballot, and you'll receive automatic notifications by text, email, or voice call to let you know the status of your ballot once you mail it, drop it off at your polling place, or at a drop box. Vote-by-mail ballots. Simple, safe, secure, counted. Learn more at vote.ca.gov.
When we out together and cheek to cheek, yes,
Welcome back. As I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here, and it's Friday already.
And
Weren't
almost
you just-
Halloween.
Weren't you just sitting here yesterday?
Just seems like it.
This
Turns
is
around.
getting scary.
It's a quick week this week.
Yes, and it is almost Halloween, and so I love this weekend, so I'm going to have a great time, and hopefully you will too.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and it's amazing that we're just around the corner to November. It's been a very, very quick month.
Right, and you know, again, challenging as it has been for the last several months, so you've got an update on COVID numbers for us.
Yeah, so to begin with, as we can see up on the chart, we had 229 cases in Orange County. One additional death was reported. Probably the most significant thing for looking at this chart is that our hospitalizations are up a little bit. We were in the 160s, and now we're up at 189. Now the ICU numbers at 59 are pretty stable. That's not gone up any major number. But the 181 is up about 20, 25 over what we saw.
Well, keep an eye on that, and that does not move to the cases currently in ICU, because you know, oh, wait a minute, so it says includes ICU cases.
Yeah, it's
so,
included.
Oh, I didn't see, oh, okay.
So
that
they're included in
that.
there,
Okay.
but just the fact that the 59's pretty stable, but the 181 is a little bit of bump.
Okay,
So
okay.
we got to watch that. I mean, obviously, we've been at higher numbers, but for the issue with the hospitalization is just the capacity to treat people.
Right.
And want to be able to do that. Orange County's in pretty good shape with regards to all of its hospitals
Right.
that can do that. But it may be a showing also of this little uptick that everybody's seeing. I mean, in the United States, obviously, we've had some of the highest numbers that we've seen. Luckily, California's not in that high number as far as increases, but they are seeing an uptick. And this shows you that uptick. So now when you look at that, remember we're talking about we're in tier 2, which is the red tier. And in order to get to the moderate, we had to get below 4. Well, we were in this first column, we were in the low 4s. We were heading that way. And then we sat there at 4.6, 4.7. We've now jumped back up to 5.1. And the impact of that obviously means it's going to take longer time to get a chance to get into the moderate. The other one I wanted to mention was the third column there, the 6%. That's the health equity quartile. That's the new one. And that's taking into context all of the areas in Orange County, and high areas and low areas, not just an average. And so that percentage of 6 needs to get down to the low 5s in order to get to the orange. And see, it was in the 5 to begin with, and now it's at 6. So we're seeing an uptick, just like the rest of the country is. Luckily for Orange County, it's not as big an uptick. And for the village, we've had a couple more cases. We're at 72 now, where we were at 70.
In Laguna Woods in general.
Yeah, in Laguna Woods, not in the village, in Laguna Woods. Thank you for that clarification. Again, unfortunately for our residents here, I can't tell you whether it's in the village or in the city.
Right.
And we do know that outside our gates, we have nursing homes and assisted living facilities, and they get more counts than most places do. So it's fair to say that there's a good chance that it's not in the village, but we'll keep watching that. And then, we just keep watching these counts, and hopefully Monday when we talk, we'll see a downtick. The interesting things now is going to be, as we've seen with holidays, what does it mean? Now, most people aren't trick-or-treating. We're having very few activities publicized, at least from that perspective. So wearing these masks is critical. If your kids are going out trick-or-treating, social distancing and all of that, and being really, really safe is so critical, because kids can get it and then spread it.
Right, exactly.
And that's the part that is most challenging probably for the medical side, is that young adults, children who can get it, but they don't have symptoms, they're asymptomatic. Then they come home, they pass it to a grandparent or a parent.
Right.
And that's where it can get serious. So being careful with that. Now we're heading into the Thanksgiving and Christmas and December holidays. And so I think everybody's a little worried about that, and knowing that, again, what I said the other day, which I think is real important for everybody in the village and everybody out there, is get your flu shot.
Yeah.
Because that is a way to just help offset those kind of things that are coming at you. If you get the flu and get weakened immunity, and then COVID comes around, it's even worse. And
Right.
so, highly recommend people go out and get their flu shot.
Now, in regards to, the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I think that it's very concerning, as you mentioned, because people do want to get together. And that's, I think, the toughest thing. And I've talked to, I think I mentioned before, my father, who's 90, and he lives in Texas, and they're seeing an uptick there. But they really are putting a lot of restrictions down more than California. So I'm not going to be traveling there. So when you consider traveling and you are going to go visit family, consider where it is you're traveling to, because some of these numbers are high. And this is something that you mentioned in our community, that you could go to the area that is high in numbers and then come back here, and then maybe you get it, right? And then you spread it here. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to take into consideration, especially now.
And there's so many things going on. You know, we have the election, so people are going out voting. They're getting out there more. So it opens up the possibility of COVID spreading even more. And it's real unfortunate because, especially like you said, for the holidays, people like to get their families together. And you mentioned something that I think is really prevalent. If you are traveling, make sure you look where you're traveling to, because they may have quarantine. They may have a restriction where you can't even get to where you want to go. And so be careful when you're setting up your travel plans if you are going to travel.
Yeah, some are requiring COVID that you get tested.
Before you
and
go.
That has to be within 72 hours of your flight. And then you need to go to a provider that state has partnered with, and I know this is true for Hawaii. Says my brother just went, and that's a lot of hoops to jump through. But nonetheless, they're trying to keep everybody, at bay and make sure that the numbers don't go up. But not to scare everybody. I mean, we certainly want you to have a lovely holiday, but again, just take those things into consideration. So, all right, and then you did mention voting. Now we have our own elections here, the United and Third.
And that I wanted to make note of that because it is Friday. We have heard, that the mail has may potentially slowed down. You can still mail in your ballot as long as it gets to the P.O. box by 11 o'clock on Monday. And so that's critical. But I would encourage people to think about that, just because if you put it in the mail and it doesn't get here in time, that's problematic in a sense, and we want you to get out and vote. We have the box at the community center. It's open until 5 o'clock on Monday, so that we can count the votes on Tuesday. So probably suggest at least considering bringing your ballot by as opposed to putting it in the mail. Don't want to tell you not to put it in the mail. Don't want to tell you how to do it. Just suggesting from a security point of view and a safety point of view to make sure it's counted. If you bring it down to the community center by 5 o'clock on Monday, we'll make sure it gets counted. And we want you vote. We want you vote.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to vote for sure. And then, of course, we also have the national election that's also going on. So there's an awful lot of ballots too. So make sure you put the ballot in the right box. There's a lot of places to put your ballots. And then I know that there has been a lot of progress on the network outage that we have. And so I think the last time you were here, you talking about the phones are up, call-in services, online services are up. Tell me how that's going.
So it is going, but slowly. And the emails and the phone systems are up, so people can call resident services, can email resident services, and we're getting that information, we're logging it in, and we're getting that work orders out to our staff. The difficulty is getting the work orders transferred over to the working group because we don't have the backup information with regards to that yet. We're still working on reconfiguration of all of our computers with regards to that type of activity. So that's going a little slower than had anticipated. So we will be working on that very diligent, not over the weekend. Our IT staff and Chuck Holland's just been doing a fantastic job, but they are literally working almost 24/7 to get everything back up to speed. what is critical for us, the next step, is that now that we can communicate, making sure that if you have an emergency, if you have a plumbing issue that has to be addressed immediately, we're getting to those.
Okay.
And then as far as work orders that are in place or already in place, trying to organize those so that we can catch up. But it's going to take a little while, and we appreciate the patience of our residents and communicating that through our office. It seems to resonate with our residents that we're getting to it. It's just it's slow, but it's real important that we do it right and that we get it right.
Exactly. I mean, that's a huge undertaking for our IT, so more power to them, and they are doing a great job. So,
Right.
All right, well, perfect. Well, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Try not to eat too much candy.
Gonna
Because there
try.
may not be any trick-or-treaters, so you'll be eating the whole bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You too. Thank you.
We'll see you again on Monday. And right when we return, we will have an update from Brian Gilmore with United. Stay tuned.
For the sweaty faces and the hidden smiles, the foggy glasses and the sore ears, the determined looks and the muffled laughs. A simple piece of fabric makes a big statement. I care. Let's all do our part to slow the spread. Wear a mask. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Brian Gilmore, who is here with a United update. Well, Brian, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Excellent, excellent. Nice to have you with us today. And I understand, you know, there's a few things that we have been talking about regarding United. They're going to vote on some things, some people next week. And you have some things in regards to assessments and monthly payments. So go ahead.
Well, thank you. Actually, I have two items to discuss. One is the assessment and monthly payments. And the second one is driving an increased integrity into our invoice approval process.
Okay.
So the first one is really more of an item of clarity. Everyone has the monthly payments, but the monthly payments are really broken into three separate parts. The first part is the GRF and mutual assessment. And the good news is that, well, there's two parts here to that. That's the same for everyone. Everyone sees the same GRF and mutual assessment, and that will remain flat for the most part going into 2021. The insurance is also the same for everyone, but we'll likely see an increase on that one. And that has two reasons. One is everyone is familiar with the fires, even before this past week. But also the property was revalued. There was it wasn't a county assessment, but there was a private group that the VMS hired to go out and find out what the value of the property really is. And so that impacts the insurance cost, of course.
Right.
And so those two items will impact the insurance coverage, and that's part of the monthly assessment. And the third part of the monthly payment is a property taxes. And that's dependent upon a particular individual matter. And that's why sometimes people might see a supplemental tax or something like that. That's a pass-through really from the county and determined by the value of your individual matter, the assessed value.
Okay.
So even though there's been lots of talks that the monthly assessments will remain flat, I want to just make everyone aware that monthly payments are composed of three parts. And the first part, the GRF and mutual assessment, will remain flat this next year.
Right. Now, in regards to the insurance, we were talking a lot, mainly with Sue about some of the insurance costs. And as you mentioned, it is an exorbitant amount of money in terms of what you need to cover. And tell me just a little bit more based on your opinion in terms of what some of those insurance things the people need to consider.
Well, if I understand your question right, what do we need to insure? And that's the buildings. In United Mutual, we own the buildings, and so they have to be insured to the level of the initial condition. And or original condition, I should say. And so the improvements that someone does, alterations that someone does, would not necessarily be covered. And in my opinion, that's where HO6 insurance is real helpful, because you look at it in how many manors are still in the original condition, and they might want to get that part covered.
Well, right. And we were talking about the HO6 and how it's somewhat similar to somewhat like a renter's insurance. And it does cover their interior belongings and potentially some alterations that they have made. So definitely we'll keep on top of that. So thank you for the clarification on the assessment. What else did you have?
Well, the other part is, and some of this might be seen during the monthly meetings as well as the finance committee meetings. And what we're trying to do is, I characterize it as drive increased integrity into the invoice approval process. And every month there's invoices that are sent to the mutual, and then checks are written. And in between that step is, particularly with reserves, because this is written into the Davis-Sterling Act, board members need to sign off on those checks. Okay. And so we're introducing another level of integrity into the process. And that really means a three-way verification of the contract, the PO or the quote, and the invoices. And make sure that they are aligned as far as the scope of work and amount estimated as well as amount invoiced. And make sure that they are, I'll call it squared up, as we approve those.
So is there a particular reason why you needed to add another level of verification?
Well, it's always been there, and it's really required by Davis-Sterling.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So I would just say that we're adding another level of integrity rather than verification. It's there, it's written into the law, and we want to make sure that we're following and obeying the law.
Well, right, and you referring to them as somewhat of a standard operating procedure. So is that basically what you're referring this to? Okay.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is that we are trying to develop some standard operating procedures within United Mutual. That's part of our strategic plan. And these would be part of the standard operating procedures that we're trying to introduce. So as new board members come on, they kind of have a procedure they can follow and know that everything is aligned. It's not like throwing them in the deep end of the swim pool and expecting them to swim. So it'll give them a leg up.
Well, that's good, because I think some of it can be very overwhelming, I'm sure, when you have a new board member come on, because it's like there's a lot of information to know. And every time I meet with one of you, it's very overwhelming to me. And I mean, obviously, I'm not serving on the board, but I could imagine how much information there is. Just even what I get is very small. Brian, how long have you been on the board?
Just about a year.
Okay.
Almost a year. I think our organizational meeting last year was in November.
And what is your title?
Well, I'm the treasurer. Of
Okay.
United Mutual. Yeah.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, what made you want to participate?
In the board?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, to give back to the community. And I felt that my experiences and expertise could contribute to where the board wanted to go and needed to go. So
and what expertises are those?
Sure. I have a background in, well, I'm a mechanical engineer by education and profession, but much of my past experience has been involved in organizational change. In my previous employer, before I retired, big companies always have to keep on innovating, not only their products, but also their internal processes and helping the people to evolve as well. So
That's excellent. And you know, our community is like a city. So for sure, that's
exactly.
definitely
Yeah.
helpful. Brian, thank you so much for the update. I really appreciate it. It was nice to meet you.
You too. Have a good day.
Thank you. And we'll be right back after this. The movie today is The Wizard of Oz, and I don't know about you, but I've seen this movie probably 100 times. We've watched this movie just about every Thanksgiving forever. Couldn't wait to watch it on those old TVs, the big old round tube. So, Wizard of Oz today, 2 p.m. with subtitles, 7 p.m. without subtitles, and of course it needs no introduction. Judy Garland, of course, as Dorothy and all the other wonderful characters. One time I met Ray Bolger. He was the scarecrow, I believe. So anyway, fun. Okay, so you can see that's brought to you by Harvard Eye. Tomorrow night, don't forget, you need to turn your clocks back 1 hour after midnight. We are going back to non-daylight savings. So fall back, do not forget. Let's also remind you, one thing that Jeff was saying is the ballots. Of course, you want to get them in by November 2nd by 5 p.m. You want to put them in the container that is out front of the Community Services Building, and it's pretty easy to identify. They have the yellow ballot, and they've got the pink ballot out there, so you can't miss it. And we will have live updates right here on Village Television on November 3rd, and that'll be at 12:15 for United and 4:30 for 3rd. Now, today is the drive-through flu clinic with the Florence Sylvester Senior Center. 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. is last names beginning A through M, and 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock is N through Z. And then tomorrow is the Halloween golf cart parade. Don't forget to register, and you can register at Amenities, Recreation, and go on to ActiveNet. All right, let's take a look at our weather one last time. Looking really nice up until about Sunday. We are going to start another warming trend. 81, 58, 82, 61. Warming up Sunday, 86, and then by Monday we will be at 88. And if you are traveling, the beaches look lovely, actually. They are at a nice temperature, and then we also have you can go to Mammoth, which actually has an overnight low of 25, Big Bear 63.20, and Palm Springs 91.63. Have a great day in the Village today. Enjoy your Friday, and you can see us here again tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to have some Halloween fun. See you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Oscar the Grouch here to tell you, yeah, you, to wear a mask out in public around other people. Sure, it'll keep you healthy, but more importantly, I won't have to see your happy, smiling face. And if you don't want to wear a mask, I've just got one thing to tell you. Scram! Go away!
Caring for each other because we are all in this together.
So wear a mask and have a rotten day, will ya?